Namaskaram, welcome to episode 8 of Machine with Mayank, and today we would use n8n, which is a secure AI native workflow automation tool. And the part what we are doing today here is how to do the setup. So we are not doing it on cloud by logging into n8n website online, but we would create a Docker image of it on our local system, and then we would try to create an automation for it. But for this particular session, this video, we are only doing the setup, how to set n8n on your system, on your local machine, so that if you do not want to wish to pass on your data to the clouds somewhere outside, you can absolutely do that. So let's begin with what we have to do, what all things we are doing. So first of all, this is a guide to help you set up n8n in Docker using VS Code. We'll understand each thing one by one. What is Docker? Docker is a containerization tool that allows you to run application in an isolated environment. So you can assume that it is like a pre-mixed food, right? So you can run it on any system. You just need to download it, run it. So it will have all the necessary requirements. So Docker helps you do that in the form of containers. So we will download n8n image and then we will run it on our system, right? How to do that, I'll show you. So we'll just go by the definition. Docker is a containerization tool that allows you to run applications in an isolated environment. This is kind of mini computer inside your actual computer, where you can install and run software without affecting your main system. So we will install Docker. You can install Docker by going to Docker website, download Docker desktop, select download for Windows depending upon what OS you are working on. Once you do that, VS Code is a code editor, so it helps you manage the code, manage the scripts, files, and everything from a single place. So that's why we will download VS Code. If you do not have VS Code, you can download VS Code. And then n8n is an automation tool that allows you to create workflows like if this happens, then that will happen. So it's an automation tool. As you see in all my last videos, we are working with a lot of automation tools. It works similar to Zapier, but it is self-hosted and free. So when you're hosting it on your system, and it's free. So now what is a container? Container is like a small isolated environment where an application, in our case, we'll be using n8n that runs. This ensures that our main system is not affected, right? Now, what is a Docker compose.yml file? YML file is used to pass on information that what needs to be done. It's a configuration file that tells Docker system that how to set up and run the applications. I'll show it to you in VS Code how it works, right? So how to go about it? First, we'll install Docker. We'll go, as you see, you can go here, download Docker desktop, download the version you would want. Then you can follow the instructions, and it is pretty simple to execute. Once it's done, you will enter your PowerShell, and there you would ws dash dash install. You will do that, then it will so WSL helps you run Linux, and we are using Ubuntu to run our Linux operations. So you can create a username and password for that. Now in VS Code, you can install the following extensions to make your life easier. I haven't done that, but I'm just letting you know. So how to do it, how to run it in VS Code, I'll just show it to you. Right, so this screen you are seeing, it is of this is your Ubuntu. On Ubuntu, you can see that once I've installed WSL integration, how to do that, you will go to your first. Okay, let me show you this thing first. Docker run hello world. So it doesn't have an image of hello world, so we'll pull it and then it will display the message hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be perfectly correct, right? So what will happen now, if you will go to our Docker desktop application, you can see it is automatically, so you have to do one thing. When you have to go to settings, you have to go to your resources, you have to go to WSL integration, and then you have to enable integration with multi-folder store, and you have to enable Ubuntu, because that is the Linux version we are using. And then you can see here the hello world image which was not there, it downloaded and installed it, but we have to run n8 automation, n8n automation. I'm unable to share you my Microsoft PowerShell, but simple in VS Code. You will go into VS Code, right? In VS Code, you will create a folder n8n, and then you will create a Docker compose.yml file, and then you have to mention what all things you are doing: version, services, n8n, image, restart always, ports that will be using to run the system on the local machine, and volumes where the details will be stored. Once you do that, you have to run few command. You have to run one command to activate it: docker compose up -d, and that's it. It will start pulling the n8n image, and that's it. It has created an n8n image. It will have all the files that is needed. And how you can access it? You can access it through this port, right? So I'll show you the port also now. So when you click on that, just give me a second. So you have to visit this localhost colon 5678 site, and you will be able to log in. So as I've already created my account on this local system, you are able to see it. Otherwise you will get this screen to set it up, so where you have to enter your name, email id, password and all, but that will only be required for your local system. You are not creating an account on n8n cloud online system. You are creating that account on your local system, right? But in case if you want to use too many functions and features and need to be constantly updated, then in that case you better create an account on n8n online, right? But for now, for local system, this is perfect. And then we can start creating workflows. So that is our next session which we will be doing. So there are different things: how to run a trigger on webhook call. Webhook call means whenever something happens, suppose a entry has been done to a Google sheet, so then what immediately that data will be sent or will be called. So that's what webhook does: runs the flow on receiving an HTTP request, right? So this is it is trigger based, and there are many different things. So this is something which we'll take up in the next session, right, where we have an objective to create an automation where with the help of OpenAI we will generate content, and that content will be posted on our Google sheet, and from there it will be posted on your LinkedIn or your Twitter accounts every day automatically at a particular set time. So this is the automation we would be doing in the next session. So this particular session was just to keep you make you aware of how to set it up on your local system, right? So yeah, that's it. I think I have covered everything. So there are only three things we need to do. We need to install Docker, we need to install WSL. So WSL Ubuntu will get installed because of that, and through Ubuntu we can do the Docker will function properly because of Ubuntu. And then yeah, one more thing. So sorry. And then you have to use VS Code to create a to manage all the files. In the Docker desktop, you'll be able to see the container that is running. So it is an automation which we have created, right? Yeah, that's it. I think it is simple. But if you have any questions or issues, or if you're facing any errors, please drop a message in the comment section, and I will also share the code with you in the comment section of this video so that you can try it out on your own. All right. So yeah, looking forward to part 2 of this video where we would actually be doing the automation that is required to make our lives easier. All right. Thank you for your time, and Hoping you a best day ahead. Thank you.